What's up, everybody? This is All Even Live podcast special edition. I have a guest coming on in a few. My boy Ryan Flowers, Clutch Sports Talk, fellow podcaster, up and comer. So I definitely want to get him in here so we can talk about some things with him, what's going on, how he started. I'll get in here in a second. Just waiting for this connection to go through. What up, what up, what up? What's going on? What's going on? I don't know where my man Mr. Flowers is at. Where he at? G Money was good. See if we can get him connected in here. Here he is.
What's up, my guy?
Man? How you doing, man? How you doing?
Man, just another beautiful day in Las Vegas, Nevada, man. It's getting warm out here today, finally, which is good.
Don't try to do that to me. I'm in New York, so I don't want to hear about no warm weather. I don't want to hear about none of that, man. You know what I mean? I don't need that right now. Okay.
Right. Okay. Hey. But we're having a good, nice day out here, though, man. It's
yes,
pretty
sir.
good. The sun is
Yes,
out.
sir.
Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Doing good. Happy New Year to you, actually, too.
Yeah, Happy New Year, man. Yeah, everything is all right, man. We're trying to do some special things for the 2021. So, I see you doing your thing. I'm doing my thing. So, I figured I'd get you in here to kind of, introduce you to the All Even podcast world. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Definitely, bro. It's all love on inside. So just take me through, how you started. Like, how did you say to yourself, hey, listen, I want to do a podcast. I want to I want to get into this sports thing because I know you play football. I know you coach football. So what made you decide to, go to the podcast, avenue or arena?
Right. So it started for me this past NFL draft. I was watching it. It was obviously during the pandemic. And I was on Facebook, Instagram, just, reading people's comments and all the foolery that was being said about certain picks or just like misinformation. Like, obviously, I'm ex-military. So for me, having information and facts is crucial to my daily routine and being right a lot of the time. And not just from a military standpoint, you should just want to have the right information, period.
That's the life, yeah.
That's the life. So I hopped on my Facebook Live and I just started dispelling all these like BS information that was being passed on these trades that people, this trade's going to happen. It's like, well, that can't happen because of X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Exactly. Because the thing with a lot of people today, especially now with this cancel culture that we have, especially with social media, anybody can get on live anywhere and stream and just say pretty much anything that they want. I mean, we look at our president, the outgoing president, we see what he's about and what he's doing. And there's several people like that. And there's a lot of people like that in the sports world. So I got on my Facebook Live and I just started talking and I would just kind of give analysis about the draft pick that was made, yada, yada, yada. And then when the draft was over, because I believe it was a Thursday night, they only did the first round that night. I got off, I kind of rewatched the live and I was like, I had like 25 people in there and they were kind of like going back and forth. And I was like, damn, man, like I could probably do a podcast. And so I don't have my book. Here's my book right here. Hold on. So like, this is my book. This is where it all started. So I have all these notes in this book. And so I researched like, how do you start a podcast? Because it's like, I didn't know what it was about, how you do it. So I found Anchor FM, which was like the first thing that came up. So I started doing the audio version. Super nervous, like my first time around. If anyone's listened to my early stuff, you go to my first one. It was the NFL draft analysis. I was like super like, yeah. So the Dallas Cowboys, like I was just like all over the place. And I shared it to everybody, my family, my friends, anybody that would want to listen. And I got positive feedback, and of course they're gonna tell me positive stuff because they're my family and friends.
Yeah, right.
But then it started hitting me when people outside of that would reach out to me via Instagram, because I started Instagram at the same time too, and they were like, "Hey man, it's actually not that bad," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So I did the audio thing for quite some time, and then the whole thing with me getting like on YouTube started with my kids because they watch a ton of YouTube.
Nice.
And I see all these like random families, and I'm like, they're not even talking about nothing, and they getting like crazy follows and subscriptions, and I'm like, why can't I just do the YouTube? So then I had to figure out like, okay, how do I take my show? Because I was already nervous doing the audio side. How do I take myself and put myself on camera? Because I never did that before. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about production. I knew nothing about editing software. So I had to do a bunch of research on that. And so then I did the YouTube show. As a matter of fact, I think you were the first guest. I think that I had one of the first guests that I had on the video side of it. And then something dawned on me one day. Well, actually, I was reached out by this All Pro Digital. They're the sports distribution company that helps me run my show. They reached out to me. They saw some of my work. They're like, "Hey, why don't you try a live show?" And I said, "A live show? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I ain't like Regis filming or nothing like that. Like, I don't know. Like, how do you do a live show?" He's like, "Well," and the president of the company, Stephen Bijou, he said, "It's the same thing, dude. It's just now instead of you just like recording it, it's going to be recorded, but it's going to be live. You're going to have, people coming in, commenting, yada, yada, yada." I said, "You know what? That's actually a good idea." And so then that's when I made the transition to do like a live show. And people do it now. Like we're doing it right now on Instagram. But I wanted to take the show to make it feel like when you watch the show, like you were at your homie's house, like it was chill, it was relaxed. I kind of dimmed the lights a little bit just to make people, get your swagger up a little bit. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Like I feel more confident when the lights are down for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I perform better when the lights are down. I don't know. That's fun to something else. I don't know. Ask my wife, but we'll see. But so I made the switch to the live show. It's been working out pretty decently for me. It's a sports show, of course, but I like to get some variety. I got a lot of things in the future coming up with some future guests in some directions that I want to do with the show. And then it's also spun off into another show with a co-host that I have who's under the All Pro Digital Sports umbrella. His name is Jack Ridnour. It's called All Pro Access. That's a show that we do together. We're still kind of finalizing the dates or the days that we want to do that as well. But we have been, focusing on the NFL playoffs a lot. But basically, it's all started to kind of go full circle because I went all over the place. It just started with me just saying, you know what? People need to hear the facts and real good information. And what you do, I'm not here to change your mind if you have an opinion or something. But I'm here to at least give you perspective. That way you can say, oh, you know what? Like, I didn't think about that. And it was ironically like, because when I kind of linked up with you, we have the same type of, we agree on certain things. And there's some things that I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't agree with him on that. But then you make valid points and I'm like, oh yeah, I can get with that. And I think that's what makes it beautiful is that people can still not have the same opinion or agree on something, but they can still have that common core where it's like, I respect that. I respect his game. I respect what he's doing. And really, that's what my show was all about.
Yeah, man, I agree with you 100%. Like, as a, I don't even know what you want to call us. So, we have our podcast, we have our own voice, but, as, we have our audience. So what we have to do is we have to give people a different view or a different angle. Like, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but I'm going to give you an angle and give you all the information so you can be able to say, you know what? I never even thought about it like that. Whether I agree with it or not, that's actually an interesting take that you have. So agree to disagree, or man, that's
exactly.
You know what
and I think that's what's
like,
wrong with the country right now is that, especially when we talk about politics and whatnot, whether you like Trump or don't like Trump, or you like Biden or you don't like Biden, it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to change your mind. If you like this particular person, that's who you like. But I'm not going to stop messing with you because that's what you like. And I feel like that's carried over into sports now. I feel like if you have a hot take and it's like something that the majority of people don't like, then like people crucify you. And I'm like, let's just look at that person and see what they're looking at, and then it's up to you whether or not you want to, jump on board with them or continue to think what you're gonna think. So that's really,
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like the thing with me is that I kind of, I'm on the fence sometimes with hot takes. Like there's certain people that they
right,
just do hot takes for
for the sake
clickbait,
of it. Yes,
and it's like you don't really have much material. Like there's no substance. You're
right,
just saying like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. If you have this take, I need you to back this up now.
right,
It just
right,
doesn't need to be off your, well, this is my opinion. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, we all have our opinion, but give me an
right, right,
angle that can make me understand where you're coming from, and
right.
then me and you can be able to say, all right, cool, that's dope. You know what I mean? But like just to say something off bat, it's just like, nah,
And we have
I'm
a
not with
lot
that.
of that in what we do. Like
Yeah,
literally, my
yeah,
Facebook feed is full of that type of stuff. And
yeah,
sometimes I just got to go in and just say, enough is enough. I can't be a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, do I expect to be a millionaire? Do I expect to be on TV doing this stuff one day? I don't know. Like
right,
I have a regular job. I have a regular life. It is what it
yeah,
is. This is something that I like to do for the
right.
sake
It's
of
your
doing it.
passion.
Now, if it turns into something, absolutely. But I'm not going to sell out. I'm not going to sell my soul to create something that I'm not, that's not me. And I always tell people that, like,
Yeah,
people are like, well, why aren't you doing like this and these little quick videos and reels? And I'm like, because I'm not doing that. Like, I'm
right.
just,
That's not what I want to do.
I'm just, I mean, I may get on TikTok one day. I mean, I have an account, but I'm not gonna. I don't do dances. That's not me. I'm about to be 37 next week. I'm
Right,
not doing no Corvette and all that. Like I'm not doing that. People that do that, that's great. That's what you do. I mean, that's just not what I'm gonna do. I'm not saying
yeah.
he's coming himself out, but that's not something that I'm comfortable doing because that's out of my space.
Right. So let's talk about, the all pro digital,
Sure.
thing that you got going on. It's a
Yeah.
great
Sure.
thing. Like, congratulations with that. I remember
Thank you.
when you announced it, and I was
Yeah.
really, really happy for you. Like, how has that been? Like, has it made your transition into this arena easier? Like, does it make your collaborations easier? Like, have you been able to network better because you have all pro digital? Like, how has that been for you?
I feel like I've grown a little bit. I learned a bit more on the business side of it. I'm
Yeah.
still in control of basically running and producing my own show and as well as the
Gotcha.
All Pro Access. So I create everything that you see. That's all created by me, all the overlays and stuff like that. But I do get a lot of advice from the people from All Pro Digital,
Right.
helping me try to brand myself, creating a new logo with merchandise, things of that nature to trying to push it out there.
Yeah.
And also with the whole what do you say, networking? Yeah, that they also help in that aspect as well too. But I've always been like a networker. I'm a talker. Like that's what
Yeah.
people know me for. People that know me knows like that dude is pretty slick with the words, and so I just start talking to people. I'm
Yeah.
extrovert. Like I'm not that type of person where I walk into a room like, oh my god, like who's gonna come talk to me? Like no, I'm gonna be like, hey, what's up, man? I'm Ryan. What's your name? All right, boom, that's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but it's a upstart. No, I'm sorry. It's an upcoming company. It's in its infancy. I'm one of the not to say the original people, but one of the kind of like the newer personalities that they have. We're trying to build out some more. Like I said,
Yeah.
we got me, we got this other guy that they paired me with, Jack Ridnour. He does
Nice.
his own podcast. He's like a baseball guy.
Yeah.
That's and he does a lot of interviews as well. We also, I think we signed 2 more females that are going to be on the show.
Nice.
One of them might be a mediator between me and Jack. We're still working out the details on that. We also have gamers on there. We got guys that play Madden. We have another lady, T Rose. She plays Call of Duty. So we're trying to touch on every aspect of sports, and not just sports, but just like lifestyle in general. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Like I said, it's a new company. They're trying to start from the ground up, and we're all spread out in a pandemic. So it's hard to communicate. And I mean, like different ages is too. Like I think Jack, he's still like a college student. Like I said, I'm 30. I'm about to be 37. Like I'm grown.
We in the same boat, man. We
Right.
around the same age.
So like I got, I'm not saying his life isn't important, but we all got different things. He's in Pittsburgh. I'm here in Nevada. The CEO of the company, he's in like Florida, Houston, sometimes back and forth.
Yeah.
So we're all over the country. So we're trying to make it work, but I feel like we got what it takes to kind of keep going. We're always looking for new people too as well.
Good. Listen, man, like I said, man, I was really excited for you, and I've seen how your show has grown in regards to your overlays, how comfortable you are now. So Really, really proud of what you're doing,
Thank you.
man. So,
Thank you. And it's all
keep it up.
self-taught. So if you're watching this live right now, or anybody, and if you're afraid or you don't know if you can do something, dude, you can do it. There's so much information on YouTube. You can network with people. I've met tons of people through this whole endeavor. I met guys like you, other guys that have been on my show, just through all of this. So if you feel like, well, that's a challenge for me, man, I mean, I welcome anyone that wants to DM me and ask me about how to create overlays.
Yeah.
It's super simple and it's cheap. All the stuff that I use for the most part is free. It's free and it's easy to use. You just have to ask the right questions, and I'll be more than happy to help anyone with that.
And that's what it's all about, man. It's about helping each other, get to where we need to be. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been, that type of person to be like, oh, this dude's trying to help me out. He's trying to steal my, like, bro, like everybody got their own thing that they do. Everybody's creative in their own way. So if I can be able to help you unlock that creativity, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's no competition. It's
at
all
all.
doing the same thing. Like I said, I'm not getting paid as of yet for this. You know what I mean? I got to drum up more sponsorship. I got to drum up more attention. So the work is on me. So, but like I said, I'm not competing against any other podcaster. It is what it is. Like
you're doing your thing.
But I think there are a lot of people out there that they see competition when they see other podcasters. It's like, oh, what is he doing? I got to do what he's doing. It's like LeVar Ball said, just stay in your lane, man. And
That's
I'm staying in my lane.
That's it, man. That's it. So let's get into
let's do it. I'm ready, man.
Stuff, man. Did you hear the news about Deshaun Watson?
I did. I'll say this, and people might not like me for this, but it is what it is. So, and I'll say this, I'll preface this. I'm a Cowboys fan, so what I'm about to say does not correlate to what I'm about to say, if that makes sense. So I don't feel bad for him. I don't. He signed the extension. He knew what he was doing.
Agree.
He's had history. You can see what they did to Andre Johnson for so many years. He was wasted. When you got there, I get it. You got drafted by them. Okay. You got drafted. But then you still were in control when you signed that extension. I think, when did he sign the extension? Was
he
it
signed it after DeAndre Hopkins got traded.
Right. So, okay. so now you're mad and you felt that they needed to reach out to you for whatever say in the next GM. I mean, should they probably have, okay, he's the best player on the team. He's their biggest asset. Maybe they should have. But dude, you took the bag. Don't be mad. You're going to be stuck there with your boy JJ. And that's what it is. I mean, I really don't have no sympathy for the dude.
You know what? It was I have the same mindset that you do, Ryan, but my boy gave me a different angle. So like we were talking about earlier, he said that, while I agree with you, Barry, that, he took the money and all that, he said, think about it from his point of view.
Right.
Dak just got hurt. We just seen Dak decline that big contract because he wanted to bet on himself. He ends up getting hurt, and now he doesn't have that security. I think Deshaun Watson was kind of looking at it the same way. Let me secure my bag, and then I can be able to say, okay, if I like the direction of where the team is going, I will commit full term to this organization. If not, I'm getting out of here. So I see both sides of it, but I'm more leaning towards how you think because I'm just old school like that. Like, this is, you're a franchise quarterback. You're not a running back. You're not a wide receiver. You're a quarterback. You can probably count on your hand how many times a franchise quarterback has been traded in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's unprecedented, right?
Doesn't happen.
Right. So my thing is this. What if the Texans go ahead and say, hey, Deshaun, we're going to go ahead and hire Eric Bieniemy? Will that suffice for you? Like, how bad can it actually be if you get the right head coach, if they're trying to turn things around after doing a lot of bad things? They've made a ton of mistakes in the last 5 years or so. Giving Bill O'Brien all of that power was a huge mistake.
Big mistake.
They understand that. So they're trying to separate front office from head coach. Give them a chance to be able to try to work this out.
Yeah.
You never know. Like, sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you really I think he has a no trade clause, but do they really have to, like, if that's the case for me, if I'm Houston and I know my quarterback has a no trade clause, it kind of minimizes the amount of teams that I can be able to send you to. So why don't we just try to repair this relationship rather than me having to try to send you somewhere and I don't get adequate compensation for you because
Right.
I don't have to trade you at the end of the day.
They don't have to trade him. I mean, he's under contract. He signed a deal. And in regards to the security of the money, I can appreciate that. You know, we saw what happened to Dak early on in the year or in the season, and that's got to go through his mind. But it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like he's still. I don't know what he was making before. I don't know if he was still on a rookie deal. I don't know.
You talking about Deshaun or Dak?
Yeah, Deshaun.
Yeah, he was still on his rookie deal. Yeah,
it's still a rookie deal. So I get it. There's still money to be made out there, but maybe he should have signed a 2-year or whatnot. I don't know. But at the end of the day, he's a professional athlete. You play professional football. You know what it is. And I think we have to start – these athletes, they got to start looking at it. Well, okay, I may not be able to play forever. Start looking to invest your money. Do other things. Don't put everything in one portfolio. So for those of you who use stocks and whatnot, you want to have a diversified portfolio. You don't want to just have one thing that you're counting on your money. And I get it. You know, I'm not in this situation. But the way he's acting now, if anything, you just got to be professional and just try to ride it out. You got your money now. They're not going to trade you. They're not going to trade you. Why would they? I mean, he's the best player on their team, and it's sad because he's a tremendous player. But he's either gonna just maybe he might do the James Harden and just start not caring anymore and get him out of here, or he realizes like, you know what, I just gotta do what I gotta do. And I mean, because how long did he extend for? Like 3-4 years? I don't know.
I think it was a 4-year deal.
4 years. So I mean, he's there for the foreseeable future. But I feel bad from the fact that his talent is being wasted. But I don't feel bad because he's getting paid at the same time. I wish my job would let me do that right now.
Right. And the thing is, the difference between the NBA James Harden situation and Deshaun Watson situation is that if he doesn't report to camp, he's not getting paid.
Exactly. Yeah. And,
there is no guaranteed money here. Like, if you're going to go ahead and do things that will void your contract, if that's what you want, then okay. Absolutely. But, you're giving up a ton of money, and, as bad as the organization is, you still have to be a professional.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're professional.
Right, and you not reporting the camp as a quarterback.
Right,
it's not professional. You're not a running back. You're not a defensive end that's trying to get his money. You got your money. Now you need to represent the organization. You think that J.J. Watt is happy with the organization? I'm sure he's very disappointed in how things are going. But you will never hear J.J. Watt say anything publicly. You never hear J.J. Watt or see J.J. Watt go to his Twitter account and do no nonsense. Right. He's a professional. He understands the business that sometimes guys are really good at their jobs. Sometimes guys are really, really bad at their jobs. And for right now, they're really, really bad at their jobs. Early on in J.J. Watt's career, the Texans weren't that bad. Like, they have not been a bad organization. Have they made bad moves? Of course. Yes. Every organization does that in a time. But in regards to Deshaun Watson's behavior, I do not condone that. I don't condone it, and it really looks bad, especially for black athletes. I'm tired. I don't want to see this anymore. It's one thing about like controlling your future and dictating what goes on, and you want to be the guy. You're the guy here. Make it work. If you're this great of a quarterback, prove everybody wrong. Prove everybody and say that I can be able to lead the Houston Texans to a Super Bowl,
or retire, or just move, or just like I'm saying, like look what Andrew Luck did. He was like, man, I was carrying this franchise for so long, I'm tired, I'm out.
Yeah, and I'm sure if the offensive line was better, Andrew Luck would still be there.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But the fact that Deshaun Watson's situation kind of reminds me of John Elway. When John Elway got drafted with the Broncos, they weren't that good. And he turned that franchise around. I'm sure there was days where he probably went home like, man, this ain't it, man. Like, these dudes are terrible, man. But so you know what? I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep busting my ass. I may end up leading the league in passing yards for 7 straight years, and we don't get anywhere, but I'm going to try my best.
And that's before the big contracts.
You know what I mean?
Before the big money was thrown out there, you got these, so, but I guess that's where you and I agree because, we're a little bit, we're seasoned. So we have this mentality. It's like you go out, you work hard because we're like on the borderline. We're like cusp because we're kind of we're like millennials, but we're not millennials.
Right.
But then we have some of our parents' traits where you just work hard. You show up, you work hard, and what's going to be, what happens will happen. But then some of these younger generation, they're like, I just want now because this is what I've done right now. And it's like, you don't work like that all the time, man. Sometimes you just got to put in work, and that work will pay off. I mean, I believe in that.
No, I agree, man. I agree 100%. So let's go into these latest coaching hires. Robert Saleh, he gets the head coaching job with the Jets. He then brings over Mike LaFleur to be his offensive coordinator. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good move because he's a defensive guy, and the first thing that comes to mind when you think of defensive coaches is like, well, the offense is going to kind of fall to the wayside, obviously. Yeah. But bringing a guy like LaFleur will help balance it out because their defense is going to be humming. I mean, their defense is they got pieces on that defense already.
Yeah, they do.
You got guys like Mosley who he opted out. There's some other guys that opted out because they didn't want to play for Adam Gase. It wasn't because of COVID, because they just didn't want to play for Adam Gase.
They use that as an excuse, right?
They use that. They're like, oh, it's all COVID. I mean, that's what I've been doing now. If I don't want to go to someone's event, I got COVID. So it's been working out for me pretty good. Hopefully no one is on the live that knows me watches that. So, but anyway.
You blew your own spot up, right?
Right. So but their defense is going to be good. I mean, I liked what I saw towards the end. A lot of people were like, well, why are they winning these games? It's like, look, man, these are competitors.
Professionals,
They want to win football games. Right. Like the fans, they're like, oh, we want the number one pick. But and I've been saying this all the time, I think that the Jets are not that far off from being
I agree. I
feel like if they get the right guy, they get guys that want to buy into Robert Saleh, who, by all accounts, I mean, he's a player's coach, which I have some thoughts on that, but at least they're going to buy into his philosophy. Yeah. They're going to want to play hard. And then they, like the LaFleur hiring with bringing him over. Sam Darnold hopefully should get a reset, but they got to get him some weapons. They got to go out. I don't think they need to draft a quarterback. I think you go out and you get Devontae Smith or you get Jamar Chase from LSU. You give them somebody to throw to. The defense will be fine. It's just that offense. You need a running back. But I think they're going to address that. But I like the hire. It's good to see somebody new get a shot. And not only someone new, he's Muslim, and that doesn't make a difference. But
that's huge.
It's good to see that the league is progressing in that fashion. That a guy that maybe 10 years ago wouldn't even been thought of as a head coach, probably because of his faith, but because so it's good to see that. So I like the move. I like I like the Jets. I like the direction that the Jets are moving forward.
Yeah, listen, man. I completely agree with you. I think that Robert Saleh, high intensity, passionate guy, great defensive coordinator. I said on my show, it hasn't been released yet, but I said that, the Jets have always had a formula. Every time they go with a defensive minded guy, they have some type of success, whether it's minimum, whether it's, they get to back-to-back AFC title games. This is the way that they like to go. Todd Bowles won 10 games in his first year. Bill Parcells, he has success with the Jets. Rex Ryan. So, you keep going down the list, and when they go offense, Richie Kotite, it didn't work out. Adam Gase, it didn't work out.
And it didn't work out for those guys quickly. Like you saw from day one, it was like, oh no.
Yeah, you knew it was a disaster. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Eric Mangini was supposed to be an offensive genius. But he was a defensive guy as well. So, and he had some marginal success. But normally they go defense. They know exactly what they want. They want that type of culture. And the difference between this now is that they have a young offensive coordinator, a quarterback's coach, to be able to develop whatever quarterback they have. That's very, very important, man. Because, when Rex Ryan was there, they had Shoddy. Shoddy wasn't a great offensive coordinator. No. So, Sanchez didn't have a lot to work with. They have to set whatever quarterback up for success, whether it's Sam Darnold, whether it's Zach Wilson, whether they draft, Fields, whoever they get, they have to make sure that, they have a quarterback's coach, and now they have the offensive coordinator that could be able to help these young guys along. I personally think I'm with you. I think that they need to keep Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has talent. You drafted him number 3 a few years ago. That's not by mistake. The kid is 22 years old. Give him a shot with a real team around him. Because guess what? if he ends up having a good year, say he throws for 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, then now you can be able to negotiate a contract that's not $40 million a year. You can get him a reasonable deal in the 20s. And now you have a young quarterback with a reasonable contract so you can be able to build this team further. So there's a lot of good things that the Jets can do right now. They just have to be patient. They can't just say, oh, we're trying to make the Super Bowl next. No. Take it easy. Give Darnold a chance to succeed.
Maybe set your sights on the division, which is winnable. I mean, the Patriots are done. We've seen that. The Bills, are they really? I mean, they're good.
The Bills are they're for real. I think
they're good. But they can be beaten. And the Dolphins, they don't have the quarterback, so I'm not worried about the Dolphins. So the Jets are in a prime position. As long as they get them some help. Like, I think they probably should take a quarterback at some point in the draft. But you don't need to go out and get Justin Fields because if Trevor Lawrence is not available, then everyone else is like, well, we can get what's the guy from BYU, Zach
Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Maybe he's available because they got a few first-round picks, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think they have two.
Yeah, so, but I feel like they need to go get him weapons now. Get him weapons. Give him the opportunity. Offensive line, bolster that up, and see what happens. But I like the coaching move. I really do like. I do like Robert Saleh.
Yeah, definitely. The next coaching move I want to talk about is the Atlanta Falcons. I am very down on this move.
I thought Raheem Morris probably should have got more of a shot.
Yeah, listen, this is a move. Like, I would think that, and me personally, like I thought that Raheem Morris did a great job when he became the interim coach. I think he changed the culture. I think they had an attitude. They played aggressive. He deserved a chance to coach this team. Right. And they went ahead and got this guy in Tennessee that anybody would look like a good coordinator when you have Derrick Henry back.
Right.
So it's like it's Atlanta. They continue to make mistakes, and he's going to be out of there quickly. They're going to realize their mistake. I give this guy 2 years, maybe. I
don't know too much about him. I mean, other than he was the OC in Tennessee. And his dad is like the co-founder of FedEx or something like that. Yeah. Not that really, I don't know if that carried any clout, but Arthur Blank, it's like, dude, you live in one of the most prominent African-American cities in all
right. And you do this.
And then you have the black interim head coach in Raheem Morris, who by all accounts, like you said, he had that team playing really well. I know the record doesn't reflect what the team really was like. They should have won a lot more games. They were winning a lot of games.
Yeah,
I'm part of the group that feels that Matt Ryan needs to stay at least another year.
I'm with you.
Needs to stay another year because Calvin Ridley, he's emerging. I think Todd Gurley has a little bit left in the tank if you pair him with another running back. And I felt like Raheem Morris really kind of tapped into what that team really needed, and he embodied that spirit. Why not give him a shot? Why? Right. At least give him a full year, and if you want to fire him after 1 year. But to go with this guy that really, like, I mean, I'm like I said, I don't know a lot about Arthur Smith, right? Yeah. But I thought maybe they probably should have given Morris a better look because how many games did he coach? He coached like at least 7-9 games. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, so he had a really good talent, a pulse on what was going on in that locker room. And I'm pretty sure those guys would have played for him a full season. And I'm not ready. I'm not done with the Atlanta Falcons. I think Atlanta Falcons still have some left in the tank. But I'm a little disappointed in Arthur Blank as an owner because of where he lives.
I agree.
It's not like he lives somewhere else, but you live in Atlanta. Like the Falcons are big. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Atlanta before. They're big. I mean, the Falcons are big in that community. And it's like you don't even give an African-American coach a shot to really kind of resurrect your franchise? I don't know, man. That's questionable to me.
Yeah, man. I completely agree with you. It's just it just baffles me. It baffles me. But there's one organization that actually got it right, and that's the Detroit Lions. Yeah. They hired my man Brad Holmes, executive from the LA Rams. I'm sure you know him well. He is a smart guy, intelligent guy, well respected. He's now the new GM for the Detroit Lions.
Like that.
This is a beautiful move. Like, they finally got it right. And I am so proud of the Lions because they've been behind the 8 ball for years, decades. Yep. I think it's time now for them to kind of step into, the the new era, the new
Right,
generation. So
exactly.
I'm proud of this hire. I really am.
This guy, he's the epitome of literally starting like at the bottom and moving
Yeah,
up. He started with the Rams as like a public relations analyst,
yeah.
and then it's like public relations. It's like, and how did he end up being an exec? But he worked his way up, man. And he grinded. From what I understand, he had a really pretty good college career. I believe at North Carolina A&T. I think he played at. And it's good. And again, another city that's I don't want to say predominantly black, but has a strong black
Yes.
community in Detroit.
Yes.
Why not go with the African American GM? Like,
Absolutely.
why not? Like, and I'm not. And this is the problem. And this is not a problem, but this is something that I see a lot now. And I hate it. It's like this, but with black coaches, black GMs, or whatever. Not only do they have to be successful just to keep their job, but they're carrying a whole race behind them.
Yep.
And that's hard. And that's definitely hard. And when I see him, yes, I see an African American, but I just want to see the guy do good so that way other guys can get another shot. Because if he fails, who knows? We might not see another black GM for quite some time.
Exactly.
Look at guys like in for the NBA, Toronto. What's the name of the GM there? What he was able to do by getting Kawhi.
Oh yeah, Masai Ujiri. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those, like black people can GM too. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So
that's right.
We just don't play. We can GM.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that hire. I'm glad to see that the Lions, stepped outside the box because literally he came from nowhere from all estimation. And he sees it. And I think they interviewed what's the guy who does the Monday Night Football?
Who was it? Was it Booger?
Not Booger. No, hell no. The other guy, Booger's terrible. The other guy, he's in there now. The younger guy, Riddick.
Oh yes. Riddick. Yes.
Riddick, I was glad that they interviewed him.
Yeah.
I think eventually he's going to get a job eventually too. Yeah. Smart dude too as well. So it's good to see that they're not just using the Rooney Rule to bring guys in just to say for the hell of it. So. Brad Holmes, man, do it. I mean, I don't want to put this pressure on you, but you got to do it for the culture, man.
Exactly. We all rooting for you, man. We all rooting for you.
We need you, brother.
Yeah. So, before we start talking about the divisional games that are going on, obviously they're going to start in a few. But I want to, get your thoughts on the big blockbuster trade for the Brooklyn Nets. Like, I know you're not a basketball guy like that, but obviously, you have an opinion. What do you think about it? What do you think is going to work? How do you think, the dynamic between Kyrie Irving and the Nets organization? How do you think that's going to go forward? So, what's going on with that? What do you think?
The first thing that came to mind is I think about the environment in the NBA. That's the first thing that came to mind. That the fact that a guy could just literally just baby himself out of a franchise and get exactly what he wants. And I know that guys do this because this is what the NBA is all about. You've seen Anthony Davis did it. Then again, though, he did it a different way. He actually showed up and played. It was a professional. James Harden showed up overweight, just bad-mouthing people. As far as the trade, I think Brooklyn, they're going to be in for some trouble because now those three guys, you got Kyrie, KD, and James. KD is arguably one of the softest athletes we've ever seen, at least from a social media standpoint. I mean, his skin is thinner than the Charmin that I used this morning. And then Kyrie is like, well, who knows? I mean, the guy thinks the earth is flat. And for those of you who think that, God bless you. Sunday's tomorrow. Make sure you're in the first pew at church. And then now you got James Harden, who's like, now he looks like an a-hole because look how he left that city, and now he really didn't deliver. I thought that he had really solid teams in Houston, and he really didn't deliver well. So, and then you got a head coach in Steve Nash, who's a rookie head coach. He's got to deal with these three dudes, and who gets the ball? Who's the alpha on the team? Like KD's gonna puff his chest up because he's that fake wannabe tough guy. Kyrie, if he's there, whether or not he's playing or not tonight, I don't know if he's playing, but I really feel like he's so it's like. This and Steve Nash is like, man, like, and it's funny because Vegas, because I bet on pretty much anything. They got them second favorite to win the championship, and I'm like,
which is nuts to me. Which is nuts to me.
Basketball, if anything, out of any sport, any team sport, you got to have cohesion. Everybody's got to fit their role.
And
that's why certain teams, and that's why the Lakers worked last year because
Right.
LeBron came in. It's his team. We know that, right? AD knows that he's the next in line. So they all know their role. But do these guys know their role? Because I think Kyrie doesn't really understand that, like, James Harden and Kevin Durant are probably like a tier above you. Maybe, and I could be wrong. Maybe, some people may argue otherwise. But, like, you're kind of like an afterthought, I think, now, especially with his antics now. I think the Rockets kind of did themselves a favor. I do like them getting who did they get? Victor Oladipo, you know what I mean?
Victor Oladipo,
But I think in the end, the Pacers, and my co-host last night on my show on All Pro Access, he made a valid point that Indiana Pacers got a good player in Karis LeVert.
Karis LeVert, man, he's up and coming. He's coming.
He's a legit player. I don't watch a lot of basketball like right now, but I've seen him a few times, and I'm pretty impressed with what he's going to do. But I think the Brooklyn Nets, they're going to win games because they're going to be better than most teams. I just get it. But when you start playing really championship caliber teams like the Lakers and stuff because the Lakers look unstoppable at this point. How is that going to balance out? Can KD carry that team? Will he be emotionally strong enough to carry Kyrie's weight and Harden's weight? Who's going to take the last shot? So I'm not a big fan of the trade.
Yeah. Listen, man, I agree with you. I can't wait to edit this podcast that I have and put it out there because it's like, I knew that this would happen.
Right.
Because the Nets wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get what you ask for, but don't be mad when it doesn't work out.
Right.
Because there's certain pairings that just should never go together.
Never.
There's no big three in the NBA. A lot of teams have dynamic duos. This is the only team in the NBA that has a big three.
Yeah.
And they don't complement each other well. James Harden doesn't move well without the ball. Kyrie doesn't move well without the ball. The only guy that can be able to play without the ball is Kevin Durant. So we're going to see how it goes, man. I mean, a lot of people are going to compare it to the Miami Heat, but the difference between this and the Miami Heat is because Dwayne Wade was willing to sacrifice. He was willing to say, LeBron, you're the guy. You're going to lead this team. Now, the first year was a little clunky. They had to figure it out. But year two.
And they still made the finals.
Yeah, and they still made the finals. Exactly. Like, we can't really say this about this team. As talented as they are they better than the Bucks to me? No. Are they better than the Celtics to me? No. Are they better than Philly to me? No.
They don't play no defense.
They did. So it's like, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens with the big top Nets. But I am not I'm not a fan of the move. But I understand why Houston had to do it because he was really getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that Houston really made out well in the trade. They got a lot of draft picks back. They got Victor Oladipo, who they can be able to flip at the trade deadline because his deal is expiring. So if they wanted to trade him to get more assets, they can be able to do that as well. They are setting.
Somebody else going to play in Texas. Athletes like Texas. There's no state tax.
No, there's no state tax. So, whether he stays and gets the bag from them, they have a good situation going.
Houston's a great city.
Yeah. No, definitely, man, definitely. So let's get into divisional weekend. I know this is what you've been waiting for, so I wanted to keep it for last. What do you think about the first matchup that's going on right now? What are your thoughts?
Rams. I think the Rams, like any football team, I coach football. I've been around football pretty much my whole life. If you can control the line of scrimmage, especially in the run game, you got a shot. Now it's going to be cold. Is Jared Goff starting? I don't know. Is he starting?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about Goff not starting. So yeah.
Okay. So if he's the guy, obviously it's going to be tough for him. It's cold out there. That thumb, how's it going to hold up?
Yeah.
You're playing. I think this is literally this is the matchup between the best defense that we have left in the playoff, and then one of the best offenses left in the playoff, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be interesting to see how that combines together to see the outcome. I think the Packers are going to win because if I have to compare the quarterback play, because at this point in the game, the further and further you get into the playoff, the better the quarterbacks are. Jared Goff is not Aaron Rodgers. And I think Aaron Rodgers will be able to maneuver around Aaron Donald if Aaron Donald's fully go. I mean, I think he's going to play, but
he was a little banged up last week too.
If you've ever had an injury in your rib under cartilage, it sucks. You can't even move. You can't talk. It's hard. And he be doing all this, he be training with knives and all that. He ain't gonna be moving like that today. Yeah. Not in the cold. Will he be as effective? I can't wait to watch Jalen Ramsey and Devontae Adams matched up.
Oh yeah,
I'm not a fan of Jalen Ramsey. He talks too much.
but
I
he's
just want
good.
to see somebody just shut. He's good. He's good. But he just talked too much for my liking. I'm not a big talker like that. Let's just play. Just play. But Packers are going to win. I don't think it'll be a blowout because I think the Rams are their defense is good enough to kind of keep the game close. It's going to boil down to their offense, and can their offense get going? And I don't think so, because Jared Goff really hasn't shown me that ability to do. I mean, he had really one good game, in my opinion, against the Chiefs a few years ago when they were supposed to be in Mexico. They moved it back to LA, and there was a shootout, and he beat Mahomes that night. But since then, I really haven't seen too much from him. So I like the Packers to win that matchup today, man.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I think that, Jared Goff has always been a mediocre quarterback at best. Like he has to have everything has to be perfect for Jared Goff to succeed.
Yep. And I actually don't like him in the Rams offense. I feel like they need somebody else more athletic.
Yeah. If they get a different quarterback, I think Sean McVay can be able to do different things with that offense. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. But it's very interesting to see that quarterback draft class is very, very iffy now. Like, you got Wentz, you got Goff.
Yeah, I mean, Dak right now is looking the best.
We don't Dak looks like he's number one. So we'll see what happens with that situation with Dallas. But I think that with the Packers, the only problem that I have, the only concern that I have about the Packers is the fact that offensive line is compromised. Yes. David Bakhtiari going down is huge. That's huge. Big. So, if they can be able to patch things together with some duct tape and some glue, and keep Aaron Rodgers, upright and clean, they have a chance to go deep, because I have the Packers winning the Super Bowl. That's just me. I think the Packers have enough to win the Super Bowl.
I think so too.
I have Packers Bills in the Super Bowl. I think personally that's going to be one of the best Super Bowls.
Bills, right? Oh, okay. Bills, huh?
Yeah, I got the Bills, man. I got the Bills. Yeah. So I guess that kind of segues. Segues to the next game between Baltimore and the Bills. You know where I'm going. So what's your thoughts on that?
Okay. I'm not a Lamar Jackson hater. I think he's an absolute talent. What he does is unique. I think he's better than Michael Vick. With his legs. Michael Vick was fast, but Lamar Jackson's got these long strides, dude. It's like, and his juking ability is like, he doesn't slow down, but he can't throw the ball, man. And I think eventually it's going to catch up to him. And I think today it catches up to them. I know they're a hot pick. They won like their last 6 or 7 in a row. They got the monkey off their back last week by beating the Tennessee Titans on the road. But today he's going to be playing another quarterback that can run as well. Maybe not like him, but can throw the ball down the field when he needs to. The Buffalo Bills, they had a tough matchup. I don't care what anybody says. The Indianapolis Colts was probably one of the best 7 seeds I've ever seen, or any lower seed in football going into the playoffs. The Colts probably should have won that game, because if you look at the stats, they controlled the line, they controlled the time of possession, yards, everything, but they just didn't have enough dynamic plays towards the end. But the Bills, to me, with Josh Allen, I feel like it's going to be a good game, but I like the Bills just because I feel like at the end of the day, Josh Allen's going to be able to make a throw in clutch time, and Lamar Jackson won't get it done.
Yeah, man, I am with you. Lamar Jackson, to me, is just he's such an interesting talent. Like, those legs are elite, right? Yeah. They're very elite.
Yeah.
But I need that arm to actually catch up to those legs.
Right.
So
right.
What I see happening right now is that I think the Bills are going to be able to stifle those running lanes.
Yep.
And if you can force Lamar Jackson to pass the ball 40+ times in the game, that's what you want. Yep. Because they don't have a number one receiver. Hollywood Brown is okay. Andrews is a very average tight end. He's not an elite tight end. No. So, and their running game is okay, but it's really how Lamar Jackson goes. If he's running the ball well, then everything opens up for everybody else.
Right.
So, but if he gets stifled, everything else gets stifled. Yeah. So, I think that the Bills are going to have a really, really good time stifling that running attack, because they know that if you take away that, Baltimore has nothing. So we're gonna see what happens. But I think that the Bills will be able to control the line of scrimmage defensively on the defensive end. So it's gonna be a tough time for Lamar Jackson. And listen, Is it going to be a negative on his legacy or whatever it is? No, he
He's still
just
young.
needs to right. He just needs to keep growing, and instead of tucking the ball as soon as you get it, after your first read,
Right.
Try to go through your second read, your third read, go through your progressions. Be patient because you have those legs to be able to extend plays. So I
Right.
need to see a little bit more of that. I need to see a little bit more Deshaun Watson out of him than
I
just
agree.
tuck and run. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go to the most obvious game this weekend is going to be the Browns and Chiefs. What are your thoughts on this game? Like, listen, as much as I clown the Browns, I think they've done a good job this year.
Yeah.
Made the playoffs. The first time they made the playoffs in 25 years. So you have to
Since
give them some credit.
95. I think I was in the 5th grade.
It's an amazing accomplishment. What they did last week was great. Do you think that they have a chance to actually make this a game with the Chiefs?
They do. I think they do. And this is why. I feel like the Chiefs hadn't been playing really good football in the last month of the season.
Right.
And Cleveland is coming off of a very exhilarating win against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Corvette game. And to your point, they've done a really good job. Kevin Stefanski has basically taken an immature team and matured them.
Yeah.
That win last week, it kind of reminded me like when my parents would go away for the weekend and they left me alone in the house and I was doing the risky business. And some of you don't know what that movie is because you're too young. And I'm telling my age. But Google YouTube risky business Tom Cruise and you'll be like, okay, that's what that old dude was talking about. But anyway, so that game last week, basically Kevin Stefanski wasn't available. He had the COVID protocol, so he wasn't there to call the game and coach the game, and they still won. And I felt like a year ago that wouldn't have been able to happen because they have immature talent, immature players. Baker Mayfield, I'm going to give him credit. He hasn't turned the ball over quite a lot at all, really, in the last couple of weeks of the season. Their running game is going to be crucial for this game tomorrow. Like, again, the running game again. I know the passing and the quarterbacks, they get all the pub and the love. But in football, you got to be able to run the football. You got to be balanced.
And their running game is their bread and butter. Yeah.
Right. And they're legit. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that's a two-headed monster that you do not want to see. And, the Chiefs defense, they're not elite. They're a middle-of-the-road type of defense. But the problem is this is why I can never pick against the Chiefs is because they can go on like a run for 20 points just like that. You blink and they're like, damn, they scored 21 points. Like, when did that happen?
It's insane. It's insane.
And I think if it boils down to that, the Browns can't keep up with that. They just can't keep up with that. And that's why, you had the Bills and the Packers. I have the Chiefs and the Packers in the Super Bowl just because I feel like a good offense sometimes, and this like the Warriors in reference to basketball. How many times I see the Warriors down like 30 points or something like that? And next thing you know, I go get a beer, I come back and be like, they up 30. Like, how did that happen? Because they just hit all those threes. You know what I mean? And literally, you got Tyreek Hill out on the outside, who doesn't get a lot of credit. Like, Tyreek Hill is a very good wide receiver.
Yes, he is.
You think he's just a burner. He runs routes really well. Yeah. He's got good hands. He's strong. They get him in end arounds and jet screens, jet sweeps. I mean, Travis Kelce controls the middle of the field. Phenomenal. Phenomenal between him and George Kittle, two best tight ends in football right now. Some other guys, but and then obviously Patrick Mahomes. Like, has he really had have we seen Patrick Mahomes really play bad football yet?
No.
I mean, like, we think it's bad football because we're used to him throwing for 500 yards in one quarter. But when he throws for,
you know what it is? You know what it is with him? It's the Aaron Rodgers syndrome. Like, his bad games are guys' good games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, we just get used to the gaudy numbers, the ridiculous numbers.
Right.
But when Aaron Rodgers put up a 4,020 plus touchdown year last year, everybody's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers done.
No.
That's a career year for somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah. And so same thing goes with Patrick Mahomes because, look, people were raving about Lamar Jackson last week for what he did. And I'm like, I think he only threw for like $170. But so the Chiefs will be in the game early. I think it's not the Chiefs. The Browns will be in the game early because the Chiefs are going to kind of be sleepwalking. And then eventually they're going to be like, oh, damn, it's a divisional round. Let's go and win this real quick, guys. And they're going to run off a few points like they do all the time. And they're going to end up winning this game. Because if you look at the last couple of games, they've trailed a lot in those games, and they find a way to just win those games in the end. So I still like the Chiefs in the end.
Yeah, man, I agree with you, man. I think the Browns will keep it respectable.
Yeah.
You know, Myles Garrett, you know, he's a great
Yeah.
talent. He
Yeah.
may be able to get to, Patrick Mahomes a couple times, but
Right.
can that offense put up sixes? That's
No.
the problem. If you
Not
get into the
consistent.
red zone, you can't put up sixes against the Chiefs. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in
You might as
trouble.
well not even bother kicking a field goal because it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It doesn't.
Just
Make
go
it.
for a
It's
fourth
not
down.
worth it.
Just try. Yeah, exactly. So it's
It's
like,
not worth it.
if they can be able to do that, and who knows if the running back tandem can really do damage, this game can get interesting. But I
Yep.
just don't see the Chiefs winning this.
No,
I
I
don't
mean,
see the
because
Chiefs losing the game.
you look at they got to play a 60-minute ball game,
Yeah,
and can they do that? Even if you play 59-minute ball game, that's still 1 minute you leave in the Chiefs.
you giving Mahomes too much time, man. A minute with Mahomes, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely agree with that. But let's get to the big fight. The big fight, man. The
This
big
much.
blockbuster, legendary showdown between the Saints and the Bucks. I personally think that the Bucks, they have been playing really, really good football over the last couple weeks. You're starting to see them gel. Tom Brady
Absolutely.
looks like he understands what the offense is asking of him. I think that AB has settled into his role as well.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts? I still feel that the Saints will win this game. But I would love your take on this.
I think the Saints have one of the best rosters in football.
Yes, they do.
And I say that because I'm going to pick against them. uh, and here's why. And these are some reasons whether people disagree with me or not. I get a lot of not hate, but people think I hate on the Saints. I don't. Like my mother-in-law is a Saints fan. They're from my wife's people. They're from the Louisiana area,
Yeah.
New Orleans, yeah, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been around the Saints quite a bit in the last
Yeah.
couple of years. I've been married over 12 years. So I've been engulfed in Saints football.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Very
it is.
hard. Few teams have done it. I think the Cowboys did it a few years ago against the Eagles. I think the Saints did it too, not too long ago as well. But it's hard. And I think, like you said, to what you were saying, Tampa Bay's offense, I feel like they've kind of found their identity. Leonard Fournette played a really good game last week against a strong defense. Washington football team. If he's able to go again and give them a decent game again, that'll help them. And I think Tom Brady has more input in the offense now, whereas before, the first 2 times that they played, I think they were still kind of learning one another. And especially that Sunday night game where they got blown out, that was like the first AB game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So you can tell they were trying to like force him the ball a lot, and it just wasn't
get him a rhythm. Yeah.
And I think they got their rhythm now. I think that the Saints it's going to be a hell of a game. But I think that Tom Brady can push the ball down the field a lot more effectively than Drew Brees at this point in his career. Like Drew Brees is going to have to rely a lot on Alvin Kamara in the run game.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't seen Drew Brees really throw the ball down the field. Like, can he do? I'm not saying he doesn't do it, but in the NFL, for those who watch the NFL, you got to have splash plays. And what I mean by splash plays, 20 yards or more. That's how you're going to win games. And the Saints can do that. I get it. But when you're playing a team, it's not going to be the Bears. Mitchell Trubisky will not be on the other side. Tom Brady is looking pretty decent. He's 42, 43?
43.
He's still better than most of these quarterbacks that are younger than him. And I feel like at the end of the day, I think that I'm still waiting for the Saints to choke a little bit. That's what they're known for in these playoff games. And not that I want them to choke because, I know people that support them, but it's like, when is it going to happen? It's like the Cowboys. People are like, oh, the Cowboys, they're going to do something stupid. And that's what they do, right? And I know that. Same thing with the Saints in playoffs. It's like something always happens to them. Yeah. Literally. You would have thought they've won like 4 Super Bowls the way their fans talk. Oh, we got the best team, and we got beignets and hand grenades out here, and it's all good. It's like, that's good, but y'all ain't won a Super Bowl,
right?
I mean, in over 10 years, you know what I mean? And you've got really, really, really good teams. So I'm not over the Saints, but I'm just like, I got to see you guys do it before I could be like, I'm on board. So I believe more in Tom Brady than I do in Drew Brees at this point. So that's why I'm going with the Bucs.
It's all good points that you made. Like, like I said, I still believe. Like, I think the Saints have been probably, arguably, the best team in football
in
the 5 years.
I mean, Mickey Loomis, what he's done there. I mean, that's a great organization.
And we've been waiting, a couple of years. I thought we were gonna get the Brady Super Bowl. We didn't get it because they had that controversy in the playoffs. So we got this game. I think it's gonna be probably one of the best games we've seen all year.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be one of the better games,
man. But I just think that the Saints defensively are really, really good. And they're gonna be able to take away some of the weapons that Brady has had the luxury of using all year long. So like I said, we're gonna have a good game, man. I can't wait. But I definitely had the Saints winning it, but winning it slightly. I had them winning the game by, I think I had a score of 30-24.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, the odds makers have it at -3, or in some places 2.5. So it's going to be a close game either way.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to come down to the quarterback play and who can make that play.
Agreed.
And I just feel like at this point, Tom Brady. Now, if the Saints win, great. Then they got to go play the Packers probably in the cold, and that's going to be another conversation. Can they handle that? So, but that's next week. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, Ryan, it was great to talk to you, man. It's always a pleasure, chopping it up with you. So, tell everybody where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, man. So you guys can catch me on Instagram at clutch.sports.talk. I'm also on Twitter at clutch_talk. Hit me up on YouTube. All my content is there. Just search Clutch Sports Talk. I'm literally, if you type in Clutch, I'm probably going to pull up first. So, which I guess I'm proud of. Which I don't know if I did anything to deserve that, but it was kind of like, okay, cool, So other than that, I mean, you can catch my shows on Mondays and Wednesdays, the Clutch Sports Talk show. That airs live on Facebook via Twitter. But if you want to access that show, just hit the link in my bio on Instagram. It'll give you an option whether you want to go to Twitter or Facebook. But we got a couple guests. I got this Monday, Jawan Harris. He's a former Buffalo Bills player. He's going to be on the show. He's got a foundation that he runs right now. And then Wednesday, I have obviously Daniel Cameron. He's a sports handicapper. He's been doing the last couple of Wednesdays with me, breaking down and giving people betting tips for the weekend's games.
Awesome.
And then I'm also going to feature Kayla Love. She's an artist out of the Bay Area. She has a song called Halftime that's been featured on ESPN The Jump. And now her song is being added to NBA 2K21.
That's what's up, man.
I mean, I'm trying to do something, man. It's 2021. So that's where I'm at. But I appreciate you, brother. It's all love. I love talking. I love everything that you've been doing. I see the growth in you as well. And I'm glad that, men of color, we can kind of collaborate and do something good for the community. So I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Definitely for the culture. It's always for the culture, man. So we'll talk again, man. I'll see you. And hopefully we get a good game, tomorrow night, man. I don't want no duds. man. I don't want no 10-7. I need a good game.
Right. Oh, and last thing before I get out of here, tomorrow I'll be doing my All-Pro Access Playoff Edition immediately after the Saints and the Buccaneers game. So if you guys want to check that out, hit me up in my link, and it'll get you access to that as well.
Nice. Very good. I'll be tapping in on that, man. So
appreciate you, boss.
Keep up the good work, man. I'll talk to you.
Thank you.
All right.